Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. This morning, I want to go back to a conversation even as Parliament prepares to rise. And this year, Parliament has been quite interesting, especially when the 85 MPs came together, later 95, and later the whole side of the majority came together to tell us that they will not participate in the reading of the budget and the debate of the budget. Well, the budget has been read, the budget has been debated, the budget has been accepted, appropriation and estimation is being done at this point, which is why yesterday you heard that portions belonging to or allocated to the National Cathedral under tourism, the tourism sector, had been struck out because the majority were not there. So don't believe the lie that we will not participate in the reading, hearing, debate, whatever of the budget. They have already gone through it, I'm telling you. And we are live on 3FM 92.7. But I'm going back to that conversation because when the MPs spoke to us, they told us that their constituents had told them, and I'll drum this home, their constituents have told them that they have lost faith in the finance minister and Mr. Charles Edubwany, Dr. Charles Edubwany. Or Dr. Charles Edubwany is no longer there. Whether he was sacrificed, whether he stepped on some wrong toes, or whether people don't think that he should be there, whether it's a consequence of the announced video, whatever it is, he is no longer there. It is Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta who is there. Same person who told us we will not go to IMF, quoted Caleb and Joshua. He's sitting at the table. Where shame and credibility and integrity is, I don't know. But this morning, I want to draw your mind back. You see, one of the people who had been part of the first group of 85 MPs, who had told us that we will not go back, we will not allow Mr. Ofori-Atta to go through, and he had even conducted another interview at the end of that press conference to suggest that we are not running a monarchy or building a monarchy. We are trying to build a democracy. The MP for Subing, Eugene, he said that. Now, he is now saying at this point that, look, in any serious country, Mr. Ofori-Atta would have been made to go. And I think I agree with him. In any serious country, where pensioners, their fund is going to be touched, in any serious country where we have seen how things have run down, and yesterday I explained to you how some of the conditions for which the dollar is rising. I explained to you. The government is quick to take funds, but not quick to explain to you. Boga is in town. He has brought his dollar. He will swap it for cedis. When he's ready to go, Boga will see the real rate of the dollar. Play Honorable MP's video for me.
An MP. Akufo-Addo did not make me an MP. You understand? God made me an MP. I was elected as Akufo-Addo was elected. So nobody should dare threaten anybody. When you veer into that realm, you even muddy the waters the more. I'm not sitting here speaking as Eugene Boachienchi. I'm sitting here speaking as a representative of the very good people of Subing. So they shouldn't bring these threats and what have you. If you want to come and sit me, come to Subing and sit me. Nobody made me an MPO. The good people of Subing made me an MP. I contested a primary like Akufo-Addo contested a primary to become president. The fact that you have taken this position doesn't mean that it's directly directed at President Akufo-Addo. No. We are talking about the supreme interest of the MPP. And no individual, quote me, is bigger than this party. Nobody. Including me, including Akufo-Addo, including all the MPs. We are serving the tradition, the MPP tradition. We don't have to agree all the time. Otherwise, we'll be seen as robots. There are certain times we will go our separate ways. The decision we have taken as MPs is to ensure who I have served loyally and faithfully for 2 decades.
Indeed, prior to the 2008 elections.
Bear with me. For 2 decades, leaves a lasting, befitting legacy.
Well, credit to Joy on that one. But we have gotten to the point where members of parliament are now like Eugene, and I salute his bravery. If Johnnie Hughes has said that, they would have said, oh, I've gone to collect money to be saying that. Now he himself is saying it. People from within the party is saying it, and he's confirming what the results of the 2020 election results confirmed. That people were pushed out of parliament because they disagreed with the president and the presidency. I'm sure you've heard that. That people were pushed out of government. The likes of Sibeye, they were pushed out of government. Or Chama Boaji, they were pushed out of government because they disagreed, because they wanted to stay professional, because they didn't want to be sycophants and hypocrites. Now we're getting to the point where members of parliament are literally daring and threatening the president and saying, you can't do FOCO. Why would anybody lose their seats or be sponsored to come and hit somebody who is performing well in parliament? Because his job is in parliament. His job is not to lick the boots of the president. His job is not to lick the boots of his party. His job is to serve the constituents who voted for him to be there. And that's why I ask, is your MP representing you? Is your member of parliament, is he representing you in any serious country? He said it. Play that video for me, Danny. He said in any serious country, Mr. Foriata will not be there, and he's sticking to it.
This house. I met us the caucus and said, look, you know what? I won't do IMF. I will not do IMF. Well, I think it's very degrading for a country like ours. But I have 2 revenue streams. Help me make it a reality that will not make us go to IMF.
And you fought tooth and nail to give him that?
Yes, you were here. 2 streams. One was e-levy. He wanted 1.5%. Haina Idrisu, the minority and co wanted 1%. He said, Chinchina, 1.5. We gave him the 1.5. Look at how we fought for him to pass the e-levy. Bill is now an act. What happened? The projected revenues of 300 million. We only got 30 million, 10%. Yeah. The second revenue stream, property rates. Was that implemented in 2021? These are major policy failures that in any civilized democracy, Kenofurata will not stand on his feet. Why are we entertaining such nonsense?
You heard him, the admission. Every time minority, every time Johnnie Hughes, every time they put it. But he's admitting that the failure is from within. And he said, why are we tolerating such nonsense? If I had said it, they would say, oh, I've gone to collect money. He has also gone to collect money, Sha. You see, he has a British training, he has a British background. So he will not tolerate nonsense. And it is time as young people in this country and as citizens of this country, we recognize that when we put people in positions, they are servants and not lords over us. If you are a royal, stay in your royal home and be a royal. Sit on your stool. But when you come into public office, know that you will answer to the people. He is speaking truth to power. And he says he doesn't care if he falls for it. That's my kind of man. So where are the others who joined him to do the press conference? Lawyer Pia Kubi and the rest, where are they in these times? Is Eugene the Lone Ranger? I am asking, is Eugene the Lone Ranger, and is he the only one whose constituents still believe that Mr. Foriata is not fit for purpose? You are working for us. You say you are not taking salary. We say, okay, now the work you are doing for us, we don't want you to do anymore. He says, I won't go anywhere. What kind of labor are you? You are working for free. We say, okay, thank you. The work you have done for free so far, we are okay. We say we don't want you to work anymore. Yeah, please go home. He said, I won't go home. I will still work for you by force. The same worker, we are doing susu in the name of pension fund. We have not finished the susu, but because he's the susu master, he is forcefully opening the susu box to collect some of the money. What kind of susu strategy is this? And he's still at post. And when you talk about it, and everybody is afraid of them. Everybody is afraid of them. Within the party, people are afraid of them, so they can't speak. Because the moment you speak, they will show you the exit. The moment you speak, they will annihilate you. How do we build a democracy like that? And when you talk, they will tell you in the Fourth Republic, they're the bastion of democracy, they're the bulwarks of democracy. But is that how to run democracy? Democracy is where you share ideas and find a middle ground. You heard him. E-levy. Property rate. Property rate. Where we were even going to give property rate to a private vendor to start running for us. How well did we do in that venture? Mind you, the assemblies have revenue collectors and revenue inspectors. My mother was part of it. She did more than 30 years with the AMA. So I know what I'm talking about. Revenue inspectors, revenue collectors. They are there. So now that we are giving it to a private person, what happens to the revenue collector? They will still be on our wage bill. Or they won't. That's why when you go to the assemblies, you see people sitting under mango trees and playing dummy. What kind of country are we running? And you have one person, and what hurts me so much is how we are not even sponsoring and resourcing our military. Somebody is telling me that they have been the most resourced. They have recruited what? You recruit people and you give them rooms to sleep in. They will be able to fight the enemy like that. The speaker spoke on authority, and I wish that we would have gotten a rebuttal from government or the Minister of Defense to say that is a lie. But it's been how many days? Back to the matter. In any serious country, he said in any civilized country, the finance minister will not be opposed. And it shows on the president. He says he is even worried about a legacy for you, Mr. President. I won't be surprised if you sponsor a candidate to chase him out. Because when you go to parliament, that's what they say. And they're asking questions. Where is Esibe Yeboah? Why was he moved out? Where is Ochema Boaji? Why was he kicked out? And so many others. Was it because they stood and they said, as for this one, I disagree? Where is Kweku Kwating? In the last parliament, who spoke better on issues of finance than Mr. Kweku Kwating? Where is he? In the last parliament, this explaining that we are trying to explain, this e-levy, all these financial things we are trying to explain, that is not explaining. Press conference after press conference that we are doing and holding, and it's not touching. Utaria now why? Utaria now why? Kweku Kwating, Esibe Yeboah could have done it simply. But because they are not playing ball. And we have done the thing to the extent that now if you belong to the Kufuor faction, oh, forget yourself. You have to belong to the Akufo-Addo faction, then you can chop some. What kind of thing is that? What kind of democracy is that? Check. The people who held the press conference, majority of them are pro-Kufuor. No be me talk up, they talk up. Majority of them are former deputy ministers. Why did they not get a second term? And they showed you their scorecard in the first term. Why were they kicked out? I don't know. By their own words, these are things that they say among themselves. And Mr. President, you have to check it. The people who have your ears, they have your ears largely for themselves, not for the good of the party. And Eugene is worried about a legacy for you today. If your presidency should end, you have finished your tenure. Today is the 7th of January 2025. You have finished your tenure. What would you say is your legacy, Bosu? What would you exactly say is your legacy that you can hold on to? Because free SHS is fraught with so many difficulties. Planting for food and jobs. We are importing food. Rearing for food and jobs. So what exactly would you say is your legacy? And that's what the man is worried about for you. That's a consummate politician who is worried and determined. And this is where his other colleagues who held the press conference will not leave him in the court to be devoured, but will come and join him. He said in any civilized country, Mr. Furiata will not be standing. Why do we tolerate such nonsense? That's the question, Mr. President. Good morning.